how are you? I'm Kayla, welcome. Today is Wednesday, July 17th, and this is Flosstube number 30. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. It hasn't been so long, I mean, over a month, but considering my track record, not too bad. I have a lot to share with you guys today, so I figured I had better get my act together and do a Flosstube now. Oh, Sully wants to share his toy. Come here, bud. You can't see him. Oh, good boy. Go lay down. Go on. Okay, what was I saying? Oh, I have a lot to share with you guys. So I figured I better do a Flosstube now before it becomes too long, and then it's like too much to talk about at once. But I've got cross stitch, I've got knitting, and I have quilting actually. So yeah, lots to share. Personally wise, let's see what has happened since. Oh my, okay, hopefully he chills out. I think he's excited because I'm talking. Okay, what has happened since my last Flosstube? Well, I randomly redid our downstairs bathroom, renovated. I didn't redo the shower tile or the floor tile, but I did do like everything else. Like painted, I put up beadboard, I replaced the vanity, the mirror, you know, changed all the art in there. I'll tell you that. So I'll get more into that later. So maybe if I remember. And my husband and I got to go to Honolulu, which was amazing. It was kind of like a 12.5 year delayed honeymoon, even though it was really quick. He had to go for work, and you know, he travels for work a lot, but I never go with him because we have kids and pets and so on and so forth, and usually he's not going to like amazing places like Honolulu. No offense to the other places he goes, but you know, anyway, he had to go for work. It was a 2-day thing for his job, but we stayed an extra day and a half, so that was incredible. You know, I wish we had had more time together, of course, but just being able to go to Hawaii, I never thought I'd get to go to Hawaii. We went only to Honolulu, like Oahu. Honolulu mostly that's where he was working. So I left Honolulu a little bit, but I didn't get to go to the North Shore or anything like that. So if we ever go back, I have a whole list of things we didn't have time to do that would be great to do. But yeah, we did go to Pearl Harbor, and on the days he was working, I went to the beach, Lanikai Beach. Highly recommend it. It's beautiful, though there's no bathrooms because it's a private beach, so you'll have to walk up the road a half mile or drive if you have a car to the State Park Beach. Kailua, maybe, I think it's called. That's where the bathrooms are. And I went on a hike to Manoa Falls by myself, which was really good. It's beautiful. It was like rainforest, you know, it was gorgeous. So yeah, and then the second day while he was working, I basically just hung out. And we ate a lot of food. I'm still on the struggle bus trying to get fully back to like my straight and narrow diet. Typical of me. If I don't eat how I know I feel best eating, and then I struggle to go back to how I know I feel best eating, even though I know I feel best when I eat that way. I really struggle to get back on the wagon. So that's where I currently am with that. Side note. Anyway, it's been really good. We're still in the midst of summer vacation, the kids and I. This week has been a heat wave here, as with, I think, a lot of people. So we've basically just hibernated indoors, and I've been doing a lot of quilting this week. So I haven't cross-stitched at all since Saturday or Sunday because I've been quilting. So yeah, all right, let's start. I guess we'll start with cross-stitch, I guess. Okay. So this only got a little bit of work since I last was with you guys. I finished a butterfly, I think, only one, on this 1814 butterfly collection by Carriage House Samplings. Yeah, pretty sure it was this one. I finished this little guy. This is all called for, or sorry, the DMC conversion from the chart. 36 count, summer khaki is my cart. I love this, but you know, I have so many projects already. Like I have all these ones that I want to start. I showed you guys last time. And I didn't even start any because I'm trying to be so responsible. Okay, I also worked a decent amount on Huckleberry Farm by the Blue Flower. I'm almost a third of the way done this chart, almost, kind of. I still have to finish the rest of the fill-in in the border. Nothing's ironed or even unfolded, sorry. I was proud of myself for remembering to take things out of the cover pages out, but okay, so yeah. So this is almost 2 pages done. The only thing I've got left for this page is to do like the little flowers. There's 2 critters to do. So the little white flowers and the leaves up in the border. But I've done the berries, and this was not completed before I picked it up. So I finished this whole big solid stitching motif and then brought the border up. So almost done the second page. There's a couple mistakes in this. I'm not counting off of this for anything, but I fudged it and just, you know, it looks good. So it's fine. Oh, I still have to add the little stitch in the center of the berries though. So I guess the berries technically aren't done. This is 36 count shale by Picture This Plus, which is the called for fabric. And I'm using the DMC conversion from the chart. I really do love this, but I love most of my projects, so, you know, just gotta do what you can do. Oh, and these 2 bags, this bag and the last bag, are the bags from Teresa, Garden Goose Stitcher. I love them. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to reach around everything that I have piled around me, and it's becoming quite a lot, so that's why I'm gonna be like, every time. Actually, I don't want to show that one yet because that's a more recent. Okay. I'm not even sure if I want to show this one. I brought out the model. It's not a model. It's a model. It's not a quote model. It's an actual model that I've been stitching, although I did not get nearly as much progress as I had hoped I would. I brought it with me when we went to Honolulu, and I tried stitching on the plane because it's an 11.5-hour plane ride, basically. So we flew from Newark to LAX and then LAX to Honolulu with no layover. Basically, we got off the plane and got on the next plane. So, which is kind of nice, actually. A little stressful. I wanted to make sure everything was on time, but anyway, the plane rides, especially from Newark to LAX, were too, I tried stitching, it was too bumpy. And then when I was in Honolulu, I basically worked on the other project that I brought. So I don't have much to show. I'm still working on the border, but here's the bottom, which I think looks pretty cool. That's not, you know, the border's pretty simple, but you know, I do like the bottom. It's not that I don't like the other border, it's just like that's not the focus of this piece in particular. Anyway, I have to actually get myself on a schedule so I can make progress on samples in a quicker fashion than like my other for fun pieces. I wonder if anyone has any insight about that. If you have any insight about that or advice or ideas, please let me know. Okay, the other thing I brought to Honolulu was Plant of Rapid Growth. So we went to Honolulu the end of June. It was June 26th, and we got back July 1st. So it was right before 4th of July, which is incidentally also Amy's birthday. So, you know, patriotic stitching time. You can stitch patriotic anytime, but you know, I was feeling it. So this is Plant of Rapid Growth by Heartstring Samplery. Gorgeous. I'm using actually all the called for fancy flosses. So like Classic Colorworks, Weeks Dye Works, Gentle Arts. And I believe I'm using the called for fabric. This is 36 count. I picture this plus, oh no. It looks a lot like Vintage Country Mocha, but it's, it'll get to me, hold on. Now it's gonna bother me if I don't look. Heartland. It was like H, but I couldn't think of it. Okay, so 36 count Heartland by Picture This Plus. All right, so what did I get done? I worked on this house, basically. The house bones, or the outer structure, was there, and I had the door outline and 3 of the window outlines had been done before, but I had to do the other 2 window outlines. I did the shutters, the fill-in of the windows, the fill-in of the roof, the chimneys, and this is the same color. It's the center of the flower that will be similar to that, so I did that, and now I'm working on filling in the house, which is gonna, you know, be extensive, of course. And then once the house is filled in, it does have some back stitching across it, you know. So yeah, that's basically what I worked on. This was had been done. That is so, I don't really like this. So yeah, that was Honolulu. Incidentally, also in this project bag, I've got Summer Hill by Plum Street Samplers. Oops, which I didn't plan on showing you guys because I didn't work on it. But I would actually like your opinion. This is Summer Hill. Really cute. I haven't worked on it a lot because I'm using the DMC conversion, and you know what? On camera, you can see it a little better. I felt like the contrast between the light green and the dark green wasn't enough. And so I was like, man, should I change the color so that it will be more contrasty? But you know what? I actually, now seeing it on the screen, I think it's okay. What do you guys think? Let me know. Because honestly, I don't know if I want this piece enough to restitch anything. So it was kind of a, either I'm gonna work on it or abandon it type of a thing. Even though it's really cute, I do like it. I think this is 36 count like mocha. And like I said, it's a DMC conversion. So I'm sure what's actually called for, like the fancy flosses, might have a slightly bigger contrast, but I think it's actually gonna be okay. Okay, so you tell me what you think, but I actually think I'm gonna keep it. That's funny. Okay, so then we got home from Honolulu. It was a red-eye flight. Oh, Liam also got braces. That was another big thing that happened. Anyway, we got home from Honolulu July 1st. And then pretty much right away, besides like, you know, resting that day, getting things back to how we're used to them and all that, we were doing Amy birthday preparations because, like I said, Amy turned 10 on the 4th of July, and then she had a birthday party at her house on the 6th. So that was, you know, a lot of stuff to do with that. I did stitch some, but I don't remember if I stitched a lot, like notably during that time or not. But in any case, I started to feel fall-y. And so I pulled out a couple of projects that I haven't really touched very much. The first one being Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow. And there's a reason I didn't touch it very much, but I'll tell you about that. So this is how it will look eventually when it's done. Sorry for the glare, but I was like, oh, this is a good view already showing, if you know what I mean. I do love this. I'm using the DMC conversion, and it's 36 count vintage country mocha, and I'm doing it on a fat quarter because I knew ultimately the thing was, I was like, I'll do it on a fat quarter because I didn't want to buy a fat half. I didn't have one. And I was like, the margins don't have to be very big because I'll just do it as like a soft finish and maybe like a wall hanging. That's kind of been my plan the whole time, right? Plus framing something this big would be, for me, because I frame myself, kind of a pain in the neck, you know? Anyway, so I don't have very much done. I only have the first block and part of the second, although I did do all these branchy bits since the last time, so that's new. But what I started to notice, I don't know if you can tell, can you see how the margin up here is getting bigger over here than over here? So that was something that made me pause, you know, not the last time I worked on it, but I was like, oh no, because I don't have a very large margin down here as it is. And again, soft finish, so I was like, it's fine. But seeing this go like this, I don't know if you can see it, the angle's increasing here, made me know, okay, this wasn't cut on a thread, you know, it wasn't cut straight on grain, basically. So that's not great. I'm worried that I'm gonna stitch right off the bottom, essentially. So I was scared, and I didn't touch this for a long time because I just thought this is going to be a disaster. And I also thought maybe I'll just sew on a piece of linen at the bottom. Didn't really want to do that to like finish the piece. I think it's cute when it's part of the design, but not necessarily like because of necessity. You know what I mean? But anyway, so the first thing I did when I took this out actually was I did the bottom of the piece, and you can see, the bottom line of the piece, you can see how close it gets from down here where I was comfortable to what, 1.5 centimeters? I don't think that's even 2 centimeters. I can do it. It'll be okay. Now I know too, so I feel comfortable about it. That I'll, you know, the piece will fit, but that was a bummer. I bought this fabric from 123 Stitch. I like that it's serged all the way around, but it was not cut. It was not cut straight. So anyway, that was, I mean, it's just straight lines, so it's not like, ooh, but now I feel like I can move forward with this piece. And then I did just a little bit to get me going on that block. So just beware, maybe if you have small margins, maybe, I don't know. How can you even check that? I guess you have to follow a whole thread across probably and see. I just didn't even think that would be an issue because like professionals cut it, not me. You know what I mean? I would expect myself to make that mistake. Anyway, and then I think the last thing that I stitched on, the last thing I stitched on was this. Now, after 4th of July, one of my toxic traits is that I immediately start wishing for fall. I know, like just enjoy summer, right? But summer is actually my least favorite season. There's lots of great things about summer, but it's my least favorite. So anyway, I was thinking about fall. I'm like, ooh, maybe I can, okay, so I found this meme. It's really funny. And if I can figure out how to insert the picture of it, I will do that. But it's a little ghost guy, and it's like, I don't want to be warm. I want to be cold and then made warm by a blanket. What is so hard to understand? And I was like, exactly, you know? Anyway, I started this last August, I think right after my, 2 videos ago before my really long hiatus. Anyway, I had forced myself to wait to start this even though I was feeling the fall bug earlier, and I shouldn't have. I should have just started it when I was ready because I barely had done anything. Because by the time I started it, it was kind of like I lost the oomph, you know? Anyway, I am using the DMC conversion from the chart, and this is 36 count XJU Designs Old Mushroom. And you know, now that I'm holding it up, I'm like, that's not that much, but it is almost the first page. I have to do like the butterflies here and then the stem and a couple flowers up here, but then the first page will actually be done. So, oh, and little spiders, which is like, you know, 12 stitches plus a back stitches, so not very much, but wow, so fun. This is going to be so pretty when it's done. I really love it. And again, not very much margin because I'm always trying to save as much fabric as possible. It might be enough that I could do a frame though if it's like really close to this edge, which that's how I would do it anyway. Or I'll do a soft finish, I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, really, really cute. I mean, this is so beautiful. I can't wait to get into the pumpkins because I love like all the tones together. And of course this, like, okay, in the pattern, it's broken into 6 pages. Wow, I don't know why I couldn't find that word. So it's like, you know, it's like that, right? And then like that. So these middle 2 pages are extremely large and full of very heavy stitching. So it's not like I will have been a 6th done or anything at all, but it doesn't matter. Once I'm finished that page is what I mean. But my thought is I'll finish this page and then I'll go up and then I'll move over and up, over and up. Perhaps, but we'll see what actually happens. Okay. I think I'm done with the cross stitching stuff. So if that's all you're here for, I'll see you next time, hopefully. I've got knitting and I've got quilting to share with you guys. I think I'll do the quilting first. So on Monday, I got a wild hair and I was like, I'm finally gonna finish Amy's quilt. If you've been here, you know I started it years ago, not years ago, a long time ago. And you know, I finished the quilt top a while ago, and then maybe it was last September. Yeah, I quilted like half of it, and then it sat and sat and sat and sat and sat and waited for me very patiently. I don't think you can underestimate my ability to procrastinate when it comes to quilting quilt tops. I'm top-notch procrastinator when it comes to that. So anyway, Monday I was like, I'm gonna finish quilting it at least. And then I actually was able to finish the whole thing. I finished quilting it, I made the trimmed it, made the binding because that wasn't done yet, and applied the binding and then washed it. And so now my sweet Amy has her finished quilt. I will tell you, it's a woven Jacob's ladder pattern from a Missouri Star Quilt Company triple play video. I did not buy the pattern, although it may be available on their website. And I'm not sure what's up and what's down, so. I just did straight line vertical quilting. I really don't like quilting on my home machine, and so I just kept it simple, but it does the job. The background is just a Kona white, I believe, and all these prints are a Heather Ross line, of which now the name is escaping me. But if I find it, I will I'll put the name of it in the description, although of course I'm not sure if it's, you know, readily available. I've had it for years waiting for me to do something with it. So I want to say it might be Tiger Lily, although I'm not sure. And then the back is just a wide bubblegum pink cotton, and I made the binding with the same color, the same as the backing. And I'm really, really happy with it. Amy's happy with it, most importantly. She's been using it on her bed. So yeah, now that that's done, I have to do the boys' quilts that I told them I would make for them. So I already had the fabric for little Billy's quilt. And I had already planned his and everything. So I decided to start it. Liam Liam changed his mind about his what he wanted. So I was originally going to make a Cluck Cluck Sew plaid pattern for him with like blues and reds and greens with a white background. But he changed his mind and he really wants like a dark gray and blue type of quilt. So I'm going to do a bear paw quilt for him, which is another Missouri Star Quilt Company pattern, because it's a way to do the bear paw without a ton of half square triangles, which I actually don't mind making half square triangles, but I want to try this other way. So it uses jelly rolls, or a jelly roll. No, 2 jelly rolls. So anyway, we'll see how that goes, but I'm not there yet. Right now I'm working on Little Billy's quilt, which also uses jelly rolls. I'm doing the Madeline quilt by Penelope Handmade. Sorry, it's the black and white copy. You don't have to use jelly rolls. Of course, you could cut your own fabric, but I'm using jelly rolls for the color. For the background, I cut from yardage. And what I'm using, he had picked this out a long time ago. It is the K Facet Collective February 2023 Darker. It's, you know, by Free Spirit. This was purchased, you know, last year, I think, from Fat Quarter Shop. So I can't, like, these are the ones that I haven't cut into yet. I have to cut into a couple of them, but yeah, Little Billy is really funky, really cool style. He loves color, so he really likes purple. That's one of his favorites colors, actually. So all these fun colors and fabrics. I did not bring the backing down, though I already have it, and it's one of the wide backing K-Facet things. So this is the background fabric. It's Robert Kaufman, and it's like a cross-hatched light gray with white. And then this will be the binding, which I cut out but did not assemble yet. This is a Riley Blake Designs. And it does have a faint, darker stripe in it. I really like a striped binding, so. So, what did I do? So I got everything, the yardage and everything cut out Monday. Yeah, I was feeling so motivated after doing Amy's quilt. I was so sore. Quilting makes me really sore. I'm too short at my table to like, so I always end up like this, you know? Anyway, but I cut everything out that needed to be cut on Monday evening. Yesterday, Tuesday, I sewed all 53, yes, all 53 jelly roll and yardage strips together with the fabric strips together. And then I started cutting them out. So it's like short rows and tall rows. So I have all of the short rows cut here. And then I began cutting the long rows. So I still have to finish doing that. I ran into an issue, which was unforeseen, and that is, I don't want to give away too much of the pattern, but the pattern calls for the tall rows to be 10.5 inches tall, and you're supposed to be able to get 4 sections out of your width of fabric strips. Oops, I'm sorry, I just moved that. You're supposed to be able to get 4 sections out of your width of fabric strips of the tall. And I found not only, which I knew this while I was sewing it, but the jelly roll strips were, okay, I have some selvage cuts here. So the jelly roll strips, this is from the other end. So this is the selvage end that I extended past the end of the jelly roll strip, right? And then this is how much it's longer on the other end. So I mean, if you exclude the selvage, it's still a good inch longer. Including the selvage, it's like 2 inches, you know? So I didn't have enough fabric from my jelly roll strips to get 4 10.5 inch sections, which was so annoying. I would have been like a 1/2 inch short on the last one. So I just decided to make the tall sections 10 inches So the quilt's gonna be a little shorter. So because of that, I'll probably leave off 1, possibly 2 strips width-wise, right? So it's not gonna be quite, I was making the biggest size, the 90 by 90 inch size, so it's really probably gonna end up being like 80, 80 something by 80 something, you know, 84 or 85 by 85, closer to that, whatever. And if it ends up a little bit longer than it is wide, I'm perfectly fine with that. So that's the progress on little Billy's quilt. He's not even little, he's 18. I'm just in such a habit because my husband's named Billy also. So anyway, that's the progress on his quilt. I did get the fabric for Liam's quilt. I ordered it from Missouri Star Quilt Company. And so I'm thinking if I stay focused, I can get Billy's top pretty well underway before Liam's stuff even gets here, because I don't want the boys to wait as long as poor Amy had to wait. I'd like to, you know, actually get them done in a timely fashion. And then I can actually, not that I don't want to do these projects, but you know, when you're doing a project for yourself versus for someone else, it hits a little different. You know what I mean? Anyway, okay. So the only other thing that I did with quilting is that I've had some half square triangles that I had to cut and then press that I was making. I started, wow, words are hard. I started a little Christmas table runner last year with some fabrics that I picked up from a local quilt shop. These are Nutcracker fabrics. Love that one so much. Just grabbed, you know, like 6 half quarters that I liked. These are the scraps. And then a little X and a little these. So yeah, anyway, the idea was to make hourglass blocks. So right now they're in the half square triangle pressed open stage, and then I still need to, you know, put them together. So again, and then recut them and repress them so that they'll be little hourglasses. And then I'm gonna just assemble a little table runner. So anyway, I had done, you know, large squares and sewed around the outside type of thing, all 4 ways, and then you cut it that way, right? I don't know if I'm saying it right. The 4 at a time half square triangle trick thing. So I had to cut it and press it. So that's also what I did while I had the iron out on Monday and the thing. So now I still need to put them together. And yeah, that's that with the quilting. So I'm done quilting now. Wow. All right. I'm just going to reach over here for a second. I'm not going to share everything that I have. I'm not going to share every project that I have. Quilting, or not quilting, knitting and crochet wise. I only have 1 crochet project right now, actually. But I will share the ones that I've touched. And I decided that instead of doing a whole big knitting video where I share every project that I finished in the past 11 months, essentially, I'll just share 1 or 2 every time I'm talking about knitting, and hopefully then we'll be caught up, you know? So here's a past project. I finished this, I don't know, sometime over the winter. It's a ranunculus sweater. It's quite large. I made I think the 2nd or 3rd size. I'd have to check my ravelry, I don't remember. But it's large, but it's cute, you know, and the gauge is loose enough. You can kind of like, you wear a tank top underneath and you can see that like you're not as big as the sweater is type of thing. So it's really cute. This is from Deep Stash that I had, which was a viscose yarn purchased from Hobby Lobby forever ago. I don't even remember. I wish I was more helpful. I probably have it in the Ravelry. I used size 9 needles instead of size 10, which was recommended because my size 10 needles were in another project and I didn't feel like taking them out. But as you can see, this gauge is still quite loose, and the project turned out quite big. And I think I had speed knit this. It took me about a week and I hurt my hands doing it because viscose yarn is not, it's like knitting kind of with cotton, you know? So it's not as forgiving on your body as wool. Although even if this was wool, I probably would have hurt my hands knitting as much as I did. I was trying to get done. I did the tighter neck version with the tubular cast on, which doesn't look that nice in this yarn, honestly. It wasn't worth it in this yarn. In a wool, it probably is worth it. And then I did pick back up the sleeves and just knit a little bit before I did some ribbing and bound off. I did all half twisted rib. I don't really like purling through the back loop, so I knit through the back loop. I did the half twisted rib, this is just a regular bind off. I didn't tubular bind off my sleeves or my hem. And frankly, I don't think I needed to. Tubular bind off is beautiful and it's really trendy, but it's also sometimes a pain and I don't feel like I need to do it every time it says it to do it. I'm not sure if this pattern said to, I'm just letting you know. And yeah, I love doing the yoke. I would definitely knit this pattern again in a different yarn. Definitely would. So yeah, I really like it. I'm glad I made it. So that's my past knitting. Let me show you my crochet project. It looks like just a big, basically a wad right now, but this is another deep stash project. This is Barocco modern cotton yarn. And I had originally bought this, let's see, modern cotton, does it have a color name? 1615. Wow, that's so helpful. I'd originally bought this. I think I bought this thinking I was going to make myself a hipster shawl by Joji Locatelli when that was really popular. But like for summertime, you know, and be like so cool. But when it came, I just didn't think that this shade of brown was the most flattering against my face. I think I'm pretty neutral undertone, but I have a lot of redness in my face because I have rosacea, and this is just too warm, you know? Like I think I look okay in a lot of warm colors and neutrals and cold colors, which is kind of nice. Cool colors, I mean, but this, I just emphasized the redness, and I was like, hard pass. So anyway, it sat there and sat there and sat there for years, and I decided I'm going to make a project bag out of it. Let me get this other. So I'm using an H hook size 8, which is 5mm, and it's basically just all single crochets. And right now it's just like a little bucket, you know, I don't want to lose the stitch. So it's going to be quite large actually, because this is the little stitch marker from when I was finished increasing on the bottom. And it's just single crochets through the back loop only, right? So you get that nice ridge. So it's quite a large bottom. And then this is how much I've done for the side. So I've got this skein left. Oops. I'm getting caught on my other project. So I've got this skein or cake left, and then this full one that I haven't gotten into yet. So I'm just gonna go until I think it's tall enough, basically, and then I'll do whatever the instructions are for this project. I'm gonna tell you what the project is in a minute. It's a free pattern. I'll do the instructions for like the drawstring channels, and then I'll be done. I don't work on it that much. I find that because I'm self-taught, and I heard someone else say this recently. Who was it? Carrie from Between Two Whips, Roxy Floss. She's, the way she tensions her yarn causes her hand to cramp. And I do the same thing. I realized when she said that, I'm like, what a perfect way of explaining why I don't crochet that much, because I cramp my hand and I need to unlearn that habit. So this is a sometimes, you know, I feel like doing something, don't feel like thinking, but only for a little bit. Let me see if I can find what this project is called. That'd be helpful. It's just called Crocheted Project Bag by Jessica Gore. and it's a free pattern. So once I finish the actual body of the bag, my idea is to, instead of just like twill tape for the, you know, to pull it, I want to get like a lace, like a cotton lace, nothing too fancy, and use that because I think it's going to be really cute and add like a feminine touch. And then I want to do same color with the yarn. So I'm going to save some yarn back. I want to do some embroidery flowers with the yarn on top of the crochet itself. I think it's going to make it look really sweet. But this is what the project page looks like for the pattern itself. So if you want to find it, you know, I find that it's a very simple, easy to follow pattern, and I would recommend it so far. Yeah. So my most recent new start is I decided to make some Christmas ornaments. I realize this is July, but people do Christmas in July, right? So for cross stitch and other things. So usually the past few years, as you may know if you've been watching, is I've been cross stitching Christmas ornaments for my family. So the kids, and last year I did the kids and for Billy too. You guys didn't even see those because I hadn't made a video, but you know, that takes pretty much all my cross stitch mojo during the month of like November, December. And so then I haven't been able to do any. I actually started a Christmassy project last year, but I barely worked on it because I was so focused on getting the ornaments done, and then I was like over it by then. Do you know what I mean? So I decided I'm going to knit or crochet ornaments this year. So they'll get handmade ornaments, but I'll be able to cross stitch my own stuff. Anyway, so I decided to use this pattern. It's from Arne & Carlos. It's the 24 Christmas balls from 2021. And I'm not going to do 24. I'm going to do probably 4 of them. And I've finished one already, and I'm in the midst, or, you know, I'm getting close to finishing the second one already. So I made Amy's first. Oh, let me tell you about my yarn. This is Deep Stash as well. This is Knit Picks palette yarn. I'm trying to think what the colors are. I put them in my Ravelry. Hold on. Pimiento is the red, and Pumice Heather is the gray. So I've had these for a very long time. I think I bought these, goodness gracious, more than 10 years ago, with the thought of making colorwork mittens. And then I realized the person I was going to make them for, my sister, probably wouldn't wear them, and then so this yarn just sat and sat and sat. So anyway, the pattern itself I think calls for either worsted or DK weight yarn. This is a fingering weight, so I am not using the intended needles either. So these are turning out smaller basically than what's intended, and that's okay with me because they're still quite a good size. So, and you know, I think that like a cream and red would look more stunning, contrasty, but I do actually like how this is turning out. So this one is for Amy. She picked this one. She said she liked this pattern. So yeah, I did that one. And then Liam had picked out the star pattern. So that's where I'm at with his. You know, I'm moving on down the star pattern, basically. This I knit in an afternoon. This is taking me much longer because, you know, mojo slows down, and I'm using US size 1 or 2.25 millimeter double pointed needles for that. Another side note that about this yarn, I found a lot of breaks in it. Now, again, I've had this yarn for over 10 years, 10 years or more, I should say. So I don't know if something happened to the yarn while it was in my possession or if it came to me that way. I haven't noticed any issues with my other yarns because my first thought was, oh, did like moth things get into it or something? But I don't think so. So I don't know what that's about. I haven't heard that being an issue with this yarn though. It seems like a pretty popular colorwork yarn, so I don't know, maybe they had some quality control issues that time or something happened to it in the time that I've had it, but that's that project. I just have two other things I'm going to share with you guys. Socks. So these are just a vanilla stripy sock pattern that I am making. Let's see where I'm at. This is leftover yarn. This is leftover Knit Pick Stroll in black that I used for my husband's ribbed watch cap that I made for him last year that you may or may not remember. And then this is Knit Picks Arletta. I think it's like Hawthorne or something yarn in the colorway Arletta. This was originally intended to be a Novelli top that I had frogged because I knew it was going to be way too big. So now I'm trying to think of all the ways to use up that yarn too. But anyway, I finished one sock. I just decided to make a stripy, I'm showing you the side with the jogs in it. Let's go to the prettier side. Just a stripy vanilla sock. So I also am knitting this on a US size 1 2.25 millimeter. I mostly knit with the 9-inch circulars, but then when I get to like the heel flap and gusset and toes and stuff, I will use double pointed needles, which are currently occupied with this the ornaments. Anyway, I just do a heel flap and gusset. That's my preferred method. I haven't tried every heel, obviously, but I do like how this fits and feels on my foot typically. I do a 60-inch sock. This is just 1x1 ribbing at the top, and then I go down. The jogs in the stripes aren't too bad, but they are noticeable. So what I have planned is that this is going to be my left sock, basically. So the jogs will be on the inside, and then the other sock, I'm going to orient it when I do the heel so that the jogs will be on the inside for my right foot. And if I don't put them on that way when I wear them, it's not a big deal. Just a wedge toe. And yeah, so one sock is complete. That had been a work in progress for a little bit, but I finished it since the last video. And then here I am with the second sock. 3, 4. So I'm on the 5th black stripe. I need 6 stripes of each color before I start the heel flap. So I'm getting there. And I have been carrying the yarn, which time will tell if that annoys me as I'm wearing it, but it's not causing an issue, you know, for the knitting of it. So we'll see. And yeah, here is, I think the jogs on this foot are even a little bit better. So yeah. So eventually I'll have those done. And my last thing is not, well, it's exciting because you haven't seen it at all, but I haven't made a ton of progress because it's just too hot. I can't be sitting with this thing on my lap right now, you know? So this is a sweater project that you guys I have not showed here yet. This is the posset, I'm not sure how it's pronounced because it's a Scots word. Posset, we'll go with that, sweater, by Kate Davies Designs. It's in an ebook that is available on Ravelry. Let me see if I can't find the cover page. It was designed to be knit with Kate Davies yarn, her Milwaukee tweed. I'm probably mispronouncing that as well. But it's kind of like a shortish, wide, stripy sweater. And if I go to I'm going to show you the project page on Ravelry, because I'll be honest with you, it made me fall in love with it, how the one colorway was. So let me find it. Stand by. Here we go. Okay. So here's the project page on Ravelry, and this is the project. Oh, hello. No, I didn't mean to go to my 1, 2, 3 stitch wish list. Let's go back to here. This is the project that I just fell in love with how all the colors were. I just thought it was so fun and cute. They have other versions. You know, this is like the cover page of the pattern and so on and so forth. And the possibilities are endless, and posset actually means possibility in Scots, I learned. So yeah, it's called for the Milwaukee tweed, which is a fingering weight, US size 4, which is a 3.5 millimeter needle. But I didn't want to use for tweed. I have, I actually just frogged the mitten project that I had, because I had found it and I was like, it's going to be too small, frog. But I had a mitten project out of that tweed. And I still want the mittens, I just have to make them with a bigger needle. But I was like, I don't really want to, first of all, it's going to be really expensive to make a sweater with all of that yarn. And I don't really love how it feels. So like, I think I would wear it less frequently. I would still wear it, but I decided to go with Drops Flora. And I tried to go with colors that would be similar to the thing that I fell in love with. And so here's the ones that I picked in the order that I'm putting them. And then here is where I am so far. I have basically the body done. I have the body done. The thing that has been taking me so long is sewing in all of these ends. One, because it's boring, and two, because it's sitting with the sweater on my lap in this heat. Is, even though we have air conditioning, it just, I don't know, I feel like half of it's mental. In any case, I'm, halfway through sewing in the ends, because after I have the ends sewed in, then I can pick up and do the whole like neckband and the I-cord bind off, because the stitches are still live at the bottom. And then of course I have to do the sleeves too. So this is one of those, I don't like weaving in ends, but I feel like the final result's going to be so worth it and so cute. This is garter stitch, and it is just so squishy, and it's gonna be like the funnest, coziest sweater ever. I can't wait to have this finished. I'm using ChowGoo circular needles. I really love these. I kind of want to get the interchangeable set, maybe a Christmas present, because they are spendy. But I do love ChowGoo needles. So yeah, that's where that project is at. I don't want to take them all out, but like, here's all the yarn in there. I have an extra red because that's what all my bind offs are going to be in. And yeah, so. All right, I think that's it. I forget what I was supposed to be telling you more about. Oh, the bathroom. So I'll talk about that for a couple minutes and then I'll be done. But that's all my projects. So yeah, I redid our bathroom downstairs. It kind of started by mistake. It wasn't planned. I did this in June. It took like a week and a half. Billy was away for work and I was cleaning the downstairs bathroom. Like I was scrubbing the grout. I was doing like a deep clean, with like a little detail brush, and I was like, "Arr." So some background story is the previous owners, when they last did the bathroom, before obviously we bought the place, years before we bought the place, before they decided to sell, they had put up a bunch of towel bars, and which is fine, like whatever works for people. It's a small bathroom though, and there was like 3 or 4 towel bars in there, and we didn't even use them. We used one little, we could just have a hand towel like by the sink, and then we have a hook on the back of the wall, back of the door, where the towels are hung, right? Because the kids are the only ones showering in the bathroom. Side note. So anyway, one of the towel bars, the one that was behind the door, was halfway coming out of the wall. And it had been like that for a while. But we knew, first of all, that the wall was going to have to be repaired. And we didn't want the towel bars there anyway, but we were like leaving it alone because we were like, we don't have time to start this project, basically, right? For all this time. So every time I went into that bathroom, right, you close the door, then you see the towel bar hanging. And it wasn't like hanging out off the wall, but it was like leaning out of the wall. You know what I mean? So I was scrubbing, back to that day, I'm scrubbing the grout, and I turned around and saw that towel bar, which is ugly. And I was like, this is the last day I'm looking at this thing. I just had a moment, and I took it down, and then I took the other towel bars down. And I didn't do a very good job of it, by the way, because I didn't know what I was doing, and half of them were like really stuck in there good, and I couldn't get the drywall anchors out. You know, it was like a whole process that I didn't intend to start. And then I took down the toilet paper holder and I was like, okay, well, I have to fix this wall now, because there was like, one of them came out with like a big hole, like ripped it out. So I was like, well, I got to get a drywall patch, which I've never done before. Oh, there's Amy. Yay, Amy. Hi. But then I was really like, what do I really want to do in this bathroom? I want to put up beadboard and like new trim and repaint and make it all pretty in my, like how I've had it in my head that I want to do. So yeah, again, Billy was away. My husband, who doesn't love surprises, was not home. And he didn't call until like 9 p.m. that night because he had such a busy day. And I was like, so guess what I did? I ripped out the towel bars and now I have to fix the wall. And can I put a beadboard? Do you mind? And he was like, what? Oh, sure. Okay. You know, poor guy. So anyway, I called my dad because our truck was still getting fixed. Because we have like an old truck, you know, that we use for like camping and Home Depot and everything. So usually I would just have that, but it was getting fixed because squirrels had chewed wires and stuff in it again. So I asked my dad if he could come and take me to Lowe's or Home Depot, but Lowe's had them in stock, and get some beadboard and trim and stuff because I couldn't fit it in my car. So he did the next day very nicely come. That was the afternoon. So during the day, I think it was a Tuesday actually, that Tuesday before my dad came and took me to Lowe's, I spent I had like tile baseboard, you know, at the foot of the thing. The walls that I had to repair. And there was those like ceramic, like there was like a toothbrush holder behind the sink, you know, and another thing like probably to hold soap bar, you know, kind of like the old fashioned ceramic things stuck on the wall, and the vanity and everything. So I took all of that out, took tile off the wall, took those things off the walls, took the vanity out, carried it into my kitchen like a crazy person, and then I left it in the kitchen because I wasn't sure if I was going to have to reuse any of the plumbing stuff for days. But anyway, so that was Tuesday. Wednesday was spent figuring out how to use the power tools and putting up trim and beadboard and making mistakes and having to fix them, buying liquid nails over and over again because, you know, I used mostly liquid nails on the back, but then I used some finishing nails, you know, in the trim and the beadboard just to hold it in. And then, yeah, finished doing all that. I think it was like Wednesday, Thursday, and I painted mostly. I still had to do the chair rail at the top for the one part behind the toilet because I thought that the mirror was going to overhang it, but it ended up not overhanging it. So that was good. But then my husband got home Friday and he was like, it looks great, except you didn't sink in your nails, did you? And I was like, no, because I was just hammering them in, you know, and trying to hammer them flat. And then I like caulked on top and tried to smooth it out. Not caulked, spackled on top and tried to like even it out. But that wasn't the right thing to do. I made a mistake. So Billy helped me. He sanded it for me to uncover the nail heads. And then I had to like sink in all the nails, and then I wood filled them and then resanded and then repainted. So that took the weekend, you know. And then I finished it up the following week. It took a few more days. I had to finish up the chair rail, like I said, and I repainted. I had to repaint the door too because I hadn't primed it because I was like, oh, it's already white, and I was painting it like the trim color, but it needed the grippiness of the primer. So redid that. So there were a couple mistakes that set me back a couple days. And then I put in the vanity. Billy helped me carry it to the bathroom, but I did the plumbing, which was really just like installing the faucet, which to me, that's plumbing, okay? I know it's not like putting in new pipes, but I never did that before. And cleaned up and decorated, and now it's really cute and pretty. So maybe it's just a little bathroom. And again, I didn't redo tile because I don't like the tile, but I didn't like feel confident in doing that part. But the new colors make the tile not so bad, if that makes sense. Anyway, that was a big project that I did before we left for Hawaii, and Also that week I barely crafted because I was very sore. I was so sore. Anyway, I'll try to see if I can do pictures and stuff, but thanks for being here. I can't believe I've been doing this for like an hour now. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a great summer, and if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, winter if you're in the Southern, and you know, I hope your crafting is bringing you joy, and I'll see you next time. Bye.